All right, hey everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Mike Kaiser. I'm here with the Wharton School, and today we're going to be talking to Professor Barbara Kahn about holiday shopping and Black Friday. So make sure to send us your questions. We'll be taking your questions and asking them to Barbara a little bit later on, so feel free to keep them going in the comments. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Tim, and we'll get the interview started.
Hey everyone, I'm Tim. I work in the Media Relations office here at Wharton. As Mike said, we're here with Professor Barbara Kahn. I'm actually going to have her introduce herself. Professor Kahn,
Okay.
how are you? Will you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
Sure. I'm Barbara Kahn. I'm a professor of marketing at the Wharton School, and I'm also the director of the J.H. Baker Retailing Center.
Great. We're getting into the holiday season, the holiday shopping season. But before we do that, I kind of want to take a step back and take a broader look at the fall season that retailers are kind of ending up and they're gearing up for their holiday season now. Some retailers are suggesting more sluggish sales, and they've actually seen an abundance of inventory. I've seen some retailers blaming it on the warmer weather, others blaming it on the increase in online shopping. Can you speak to the sluggish sales that retailers have seen?
Yeah. Now, they haven't been sluggish across the board. It's been mostly the traditional department stores like Macys and Nordstrom's that were reporting decreased sales. That's what you're talking about.
Yes.
And that's mostly in apparel and accessories. You have seen an uptick in Lowe's and in home shopping and some of the bigger ticket items, and even in some consumer electronics have been doing okay. And the apparel industry, even though it seems like a cop-out, is actually true. It's very sensitive to weather. And I think this October is going to go on as the warmest October in history, so there's something to be said about that. You can just imagine it's kind of hard to want to go buy a new wardrobe when it's still warm out. And so I think that's what has been a lot of in the apparel.
Right. You mentioned Macy's. I read a quote. Macy's, the CEO, said that the retail industry is going through a tough period every 5, 6, 7 years or so. It's kind of a shift, and he believes that they're going through that tough period. And that's kind of what they've been seeing.
Yeah, it's a little bit that. I mean, I think people just aren't buying apparel as much, and you can attribute to it is going somewhere. There seems to be more consumer confidence. There's talk that the interest rates are going to be going up again, which shows that the economy is in pretty good shape. The pump prices, the oil price, gas prices are down, and so people seem to have more money. Where is that money going? Well, it doesn't seem to be going in traditional department stores,
Right.
but you see the off-price retailers are doing okay. Those and now you see that Macy's is going to open up an off-price retailing also to kind of get into that shopping mode. Nordstrom already has a Nordstrom rack. H&M is doing okay, so the off-price is doing okay. And as I said, the home accessories in that industry is doing okay. And you are seeing an increase in online. A lot of people talk about Amazon and a lot's going on there. But it's still a very small percentage of overall retail. So you can't explain everything by online shopping.
So let's dive into the holiday season. I think another major holiday shopping story this season is retailers choosing not only to close on Thanksgiving again, but also even some on Black Friday this year. So we've kind of seen the shift from Black Weekend to being closed now on these two important shopping days. Would you say that Black Friday has lost its importance?
Black Friday is not as important as it once was, and I think that's where you're seeing online shopping really make a difference. Because first of all, there's a couple things. The promotions have been around for a long time. You can buy promotional deals online 24/7, so it doesn't have that same, I got to get out and go to the store on Black Friday. The big news story on Black Friday this year was REI. I think they're the ones that did the most. And for their brand and what they're doing, you can see why. First of all, they got a whole lot of PR over that. So that was great, and for all the right reasons. What's REI? Outdoors, don't go shopping, spend your time enjoying it, be with your family, that kind of thing. That all makes sense. Most of the other retails, I think, are going to stay open for Black Friday. What they're not doing is opening up Thursday night.
Right.
Now, some of them are still doing that. Macy's is doing that, but Nordstrom said no to that. Nordstrom's is more of a higher-end brand, so I don't think they feel like they need to compete on that level. Right. Macy's, I don't think, can afford to lose the time. If people are going to shop, they're going to have to be open.
Right. Do you think those that's just one thing that the traditional retailers can do to win over the holiday shoppers this season. Are there a few others that you can think of?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question. So does anybody predict stores are going to go away? No. But are stores going to morph? Yes, they have to morph, right? And so you have to give people a reason to go shopping. Well, I mean, I don't know about you, but a lot of the students that I speak to here at Wharton, I go, are you going to go out for Thursday or Black Friday? They see it as a holiday of fun, you know, like I got to get out of the house, you know, that kind of thing. And that's part of the reason it still has the appeal. And so that's what retailers have to do. They have to think of a reason to go shopping. So one of the news stories here locally is Urban Outfitters just recently is partnering with Vetri Pizza and things like that.
Yep.
People are wondering about that. And I think that's really what you got to eat. You know, you go out, the experience, you kind of make retail take a different position. That's where I think the stores are going to change and do something more fun, experientially.
All about that experience, drawing the shoppers back to the store, not just the deals. Great,
right.
Great. With Black Friday comes, you know, Cyber Monday, the deals. Do you think that these days, that weekend, is, you know, is it happening too early? Are people waiting? Are retailers waiting just for that weekend for the deals? I know we've seen it.
It's really funny about that. I think Cyber Mondays, from what I understand, I haven't looked at those numbers carefully, so I'm not as sure. But I think that Cyber Monday is not as weak as Black Friday was. I think Cyber Monday is still a thing. And so, you know, why are people shopping online at those things? Actually, when you get concentrated deals, that seems to work really well. Like one of the most successful shopping days recently is Singles Day, 11/11 with Alibaba. That was kind of interesting that happened. So how does that happen? You know, I think that people do absolutely see the beginning of holiday shopping as the day after Thanksgiving. And I think there's some kind of enthusiasm about shopping at that time. So you see a big bulk of people shop then. Most people are off from work, except the people keeping the stores open. But a lot of people, it's something to do. It's what you think about doing, go shopping, you know, when that happens. And then the next really big bump in shopping is like the last minute, the day before Christmas and all of those kinds of things. And I think you continue to see that.
Great. Now, speaking of spending, and especially my generation, the Millennials, a survey saying my generation, the Millennials, are planning to spend the most money they ever have this holiday season.
And what are you going to spend it on?
That is a very good question. I have not thought about my holiday shopping one bit yet. So there's a confession. My thought is that traditional retailers aren't adapting fast enough to the way that millennials like to shop, like to do their business. Do you see that as something that retailers are trying to
Well, I think they are
out?
learning, and it is interesting. I mean, I was quite serious. What do you think you're going to shop on, you know? So what do we know about what people do holiday shopping? The first thing is people do buy gifts, but they also buy for themselves.
Right.
And so some of the holidays, you know, one for you, one for me kind of thing. And so that notion is there. And so giving people a reason to shop. So consumer electronics, they've been gearing up, coming up with lots of interesting things. What has been new in apparel? You know, this isn't a season of fun new things. I can't even think of what's a fun new thing I have to have. And with the warm weather there, it's really hard for me to get, you know, it's like I don't like to think about food till I'm hungry. I don't like to think about clothes till I'm cold.
Right.
So I don't even know what people are shopping. But definitely, the way millennials like to shop, the innovative retailers are adapting. So one of the ones that people are talking about is Nordstrom's. Nordstrom's has Bonobos, for example. They were the first. Bonobos is a millennial startup that has clothes for men and now for women also that millennials like. And Nordstrom's was the first stop. Now Bonobos has their own showrooms, but it was first done in Nordstrom's. That was interesting. Nordstrom's did Topshop. Nordstrom's did a pop-up with Warby Parker.
Right.
You know, so that's kind of interesting, and that's got to be directed at the millennials and trying to figure out what's new, what's fun, what do they want to buy. So a good retailer should be doing that.
Right. Now, you made me think. I think one of the things that I like to purchase are experiences, you know, things that we can do. Is there a way that, you know, retailers can kind of play off what people are looking for in that direction?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think, what a lot of the gift cards were and stuff like that, a lot of experiential purchases. You are seeing that in general, that people like to spend more money on experiences, they get more enjoyment out of it. There's actually been a bunch of academic research, some of it done here at Wharton, on that area, that people just enjoy experiences more than some of these things that break right away. But yeah, so I think anything that's fun, exciting, give me a reason to shop, that's where people are going to go shopping.
Exactly. Okay. I think we're going to flip it back to Mike, and we have a viewer question for Professor Kahn.
Okay.
Yes. So we have a question here from user Nick Neer, and he wanted to know if if people are becoming less materialistic these days. Just the topic of materials. Is there any evidence out there that suggests that maybe there's a shift towards people, wanting to consume less?
Yeah, I do think that's a really interesting idea. I think there is some evidence of less consumerism and more like shopping for need. Or you do see it when you think about millennials again. A lot of the startups or the new brands that millennials like are doing good for the world, So I'll buy a pair of Warby glasses because they're going to give them to somebody else. So I think there is and I applaud people for doing this. I personally think it's wonderful. There is a sense, it's not just about more and more and more. It's about creating a better world, creating a better experience, quality of life.
Right.
That's all the questions that we have.
Great.
Right now.
Okay. I would be remiss if I didn't ask for a prediction on the holiday season. What do you see? Any trends? Anything moving into next year that retailers can?
Well, it's bound to get cold one of these days. So all that pent up demand, we should see that again. We still have more money in our pockets because of less gas and all, the cheaper price of gas and things like that. So people are ready to buy. I think they need a reason to buy. We have these inventory issues that you're talking about so that's a problem. And now, why is that a big problem? Because they got to get rid of that inventory. And what are they going to do to get rid of that inventory? They're going to discount. And what happens when people discount? They get addicted to price sales. They don't buy at regular price. So that's a problem. And that you see also with this the decrease in consumerism is one thing, but the addiction to a cheap price is another. And getting rid of this inventory and going into the season with some big sales is probably not a good first step in that kind of thing. So I don't know how that'll play. It's going to be a function, though, of this thing. So, for example, I understand in the toy business, Star Wars toys are really hot.
The new Star Wars movie coming out.
So there's a reason to buy. That's exciting. That's what we need. If we can get some more excitement, some more innovation, then I think people will shop.
So will retailers this holiday season need to offer sales on top of their holiday sales?
They may do that. They seem addicted to these discounts, but I think the creative ones, the innovative ones, are going to try to do something experiential, more fun. Pop-up shops are coming up. There's some of that stuff, celebrity events, that kind of stuff. That tie-ins to these movies or whatever, that's always good.
Nordstrom doing it right. Are there any other retailers that you can see doing it?
Well, Nordstrom's is the one people keep talking about just because of what you said. We're trying to get to this millennial buyer, and let's get to the brands that resonate with them, and they're one of the first ones to pick that up. And they did it fast, and they did it well. Macy's is still very much in there. But Walmart's, by the way, the sales in Walmart, revenues are going up on Walmart, and they're really trying. Walmart is still the biggest retailer on earth, so Walmart's doing something right. Their profitability isn't as good because they're paying their employees more, but that brings their costs up higher.
Right.
So it's a complicated game, but it seems like it's reason to be optimistic.
Awesome.
Just a question on Nordstrom and Walmart and Macy's. What holds some retailers back, and what propels some retailers to take risks like Nordstrom did? Like what are they using? What information do they have that the other ones don't?
I heard some talk on Nordstrom's, and Nordstrom's always been about the customer experience and customer service and looking at it from the customer point of view. So I don't know if Nordstrom's went out there to be like the most innovative retailer. I think what Nordstrom's did was focus on what their customers wanted and tried to fill in, even incrementally, these little pieces of what would increase customer experience. And I think that's how they got there. So I don't know if it was so much top-down innovation as much as they've always been very customer experience, customer focused. And when they're starting to look at that and they're starting to see what customers want, that's how they come up with these ideas. A retailer that's trying to be somewhat innovative, and you're seeing some of that is in Target with the new CEO. So they did the smaller footprint. You know, Target's been doing more urban stores.
Right.
Doing where are the consumers? Where are the millennials? They're now in cities. They're moving back into
Right.
cities. They want to shop in a different way. So I think some of that's more strategic. And up until recently, Target was doing pretty well. I think their numbers just recently were a little softer. But I think that, you know, he closed down the Canada stores. He's moved into these smaller footprints. Did something that was really kind of a big strategic play. And for the most part, it was working pretty well. And Walmart was also very strategic in recognizing online, recognizing the threat that Amazon was. They have offices now in San Francisco. They've done a lot more combination omni-channel kind of strategies. So I think that's more strategic.
So, what will you be shopping for? You asked me, what will you be?
Well, I like to buy clothes, so I'm buying clothes
Yeah.
anyway. But I am waiting for the weather to get. I just cannot bring myself to buy new clothes until it's a little bit colder and I figure out what I need. So it's a very compelling thing. But shopping is very experiential, emotional. You know, you got to want to do it because otherwise you are going to just stay on your computer and shop online.
Right.
It's just easier.
Convenience. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, is there anything else you want to add about the retail season, the upcoming holiday?
No, I mean,
shopping
it's fun
season?
to watch. It's fun to see what happens. It's fun to listen to all these numbers and hear all these reports, you know, and these new predictions from the CEOs. So it just keeps happening.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll need to check back in a month and a half or so with you to see how the holiday season went and to see where we can go in the new year from there.
That sounds great.
So that sounds great.
Okay.
So thank you for joining us today, Professor Kahn. Thank you for joining us. Happy holidays, everyone.
Yeah, happy holidays.
We'll
Happy
see you soon.
Thanksgiving.